Aloha broskies. I don't know why I said that, but okay. So this video was originally supposed to be like a general review of Byte by Night, but because there's more reviews coming out on YouTube about this game, I'm gonna try to make this review a little bit more different. So I'm gonna touch on points that some people probably haven't covered yet, and I'm gonna be reviewing this game in more of a new player perspective and like first impressions perspective kind of thing. So I'll kind of just be partly reviewing this game for how good it reels in its new players. So yeah, stay tuned. By the way, for whoever came from the KreekCraft video, thank y'all for your support. I mean, I should kind of be thanking the algorithm too, but I actually got a lot more positive comments out of that video than I thought. I obviously knew that some people weren't gonna like it, but I got way more likes than I thought actually, so thank you. Also, making a vid like this is just kind of easier on me because I have everything unlocked in the game except Innard. So all survivors and killers except Innard. So anyways, let's begin. So, on the sadly declining gaming platform known as Roblox, you've definitely seen one of these types of game genres on there, known as ASIMs or asymmetrical games, or like asymmetrical multiplayer games recently. But for those that don't even know what an ASIM is or asymmetrical multiplayer game is, allow me to explain. So multiplayer asymmetrical games are games where usually there is one killer and most of the people that are in your match are survivors, and the survivors are supposed to escape the map by performing tasks or just getting away from the killer until it is time to finally escape, and the killer is supposed to, well, kill all the survivors. And the history of the actual asymmetrical genre goes way back before Roblox's Flee the Facility and Piggy, even Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th. And now with the, I guess you could call the ASIM boom on Roblox, we now have games like Pillar Chase, Forsaken, Outcome Memories, and now finally Byte by Night. The reveals and release date for this game were pretty anticipated, and yeah, anticipated this game was, cause goddamn it got a lot of players. I mean, even most of my friends played this game at least before. So what is a Byte by Night? So this game, similar to like Dead by Daylight and Forsaken, is a FNAF themed asymmetrical game. Now I haven't really played much FNAF and was never really into it, even though I'm kind of autistic. So I'll just review this game for what it is in my way. Alright, really quickly, how does this game work? So every round there is one killer that has to kill everyone, and the survivors have to crank generators and sometimes retrieve batteries to their like panel spots. And the reason to do this is so that it can remove some time off the timer, and then once the timer finally hits 6 AM, then you can finally escape. And that's pretty much the game. So yeah. Alright, so actually getting into this game. So when you're trying this game out for the first time, you'll notice that there is no tutorial or nothing but in the shop that gives you info about survivor classes and killers. So yeah, this game doesn't really give you a lot of information, and you can tell that this is the type of game that wants you to figure out shit. And having players figure out your game isn't bad, because at least they're not bombarding you with like a long tutorial or something like that. But we're gonna see if this game makes up for that. So starting off with being a survivor, and you can figure out what you need to do immediately from looking at the top right and seeing objectives and figuring out that the killer is going to, well, kill you. The only thing about the objectives that I'd say could be hard for new players to figure out is that sometimes when you grab a battery, some of the red outlines that you need to go to put the batteries in the panel spots can be a little hard to see, mainly when they're like far away. And with the survivor classes, they're actually not hard to figure out, with all of them having 2 abilities that you can quickly just figure out on your own. Although some of the abilities could sometimes be a little confusing to a new player at least, but I don't feel like it's a big deal. Alright, so now for the killers. Now because these are killers, they have more abilities than the survivors. So first off, Springtrap is actually easy to figure out, although the Scream ability may be confusing for some new players, but other than that, you can figure it out pretty quickly. And the Mimic, I feel like, is more harder to figure out because you basically have to like switch modes. So there's strength, speed, and stealth, and speed is one that really threw me off because I didn't know at the time that when you're attacking people with speed, you're doing very little damage, and I had to get told that speed is not that good to use. So yeah, that's something that'll definitely throw new players off, so I wish they made the Mimic more easier to figure out. And sorry, but I don't have Ennard, but I'm guessing Ennard is probably a little easier to figure out than the Mimic. So yeah, I mean, overall, figuring out what you need to do in the game is not that hard. I just wish they had like info about classes and some killers and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my wish. Alright, so the highly anticipated trailer and reveal for this game obviously looked pretty good, and pretty good it looked. Like, obviously everything in this game just looks great. With all the animatronics and the cutscenes that play before it shows who the killer actually is, this game just looks great, and it's probably one of the greatest looking ASIM games I've ever seen. But something that I think I've never heard anybody talk about is the UI design for this game. I think the UI of this game looks amazing. I love how when you hover your mouse over a button, it makes this like staticky effect on it. And I mean, the UI design in general, it looks gritty but shiny, and some of the like red buttons almost look like you could lick them. Yeah, I think I said that. So yeah, I mean, it just fits with the world and like the believability, I guess. And I guess one small thing is I think the generator little mini game puzzle is great, but doing the same type of stuff could definitely get boring after a while of playing this game. So I wish there was a little more variety with this one, but yeah, other than that, it's not that bad. Alright, so one last problem I have with this game, and that is looping. I think looping is annoying because you're kind of just doing the same thing for a bit, but depending on what killer you are and I guess what class the survivor is, sometimes loops last just for a little bit and then the survivor will start running somewhere else. So it's sometimes not that bad, but there are times where you can literally loop the killer for a while, and I've heard times where one of my friends have looped someone for pretty much the entire round. I mean, what the fuck? And in a way, I kind of don't blame people for looping, because I mean, I've tried looping before, especially when my death feels like it's unfair or something, and sometimes I'll do a good little loop and then probably just die anyways. And I guess the easiest fix that I would find is just make some things in the level design not very loopable. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of one of the only fixes I see. And I guess that's kind of about it for this video. Overall though, I think this game is actually kind of good, although I do see myself getting tired of it more. But usually ASIMs I don't really like that much, although I've recently been trying Dead by Daylight and I surprisingly like it a bit actually. But yeah, I feel like Bite by Night is definitely not a bad ASIM, but I do see some problems with it, and you could definitely have a lot of fun with this game. So yeah, see ya in another video.